Well, it is another day. Now, like I said in the other video, I got myself a pressure washer finally. So that means I can run back into doing my RB20. I need to give this another quick oven clean because I want to make sure it's nice and clean before I go measuring it. Now, of course, before I do that, what I want to do is actually hone the block. So I'm going to hone it all out, get it to how I want it, get it to a nice finish, and then once I've sprayed my metal filings everywhere, it will be oven cleaned and then power washed, and then I'll get to measuring. So we'll measure the tunnels without bearings, we'll measure the tunnels with bearings, measure the crank inside the block with the bearings, check the end play. We're checking everything. I may as well get straight into it. Hopefully I've got enough lubricant here to actually do it. Usually use CRC or WD-40 or something. I think I'm getting quite low on everything. I'm sure we'll make it work, but yeah, run through these balls, hone them, get a nice finish on them, and we'll go from there. Had to scrounge through the shop supplies, and of course that would be right, I am about out. I have a minuscule amount of CRC in this can. Probably not even worth touching the trigger on that. What I'm going to do is use a little bit of ATF. You can thin it down, ATF and kerosene, or thin motor oil, but ATF is real thin, so that'll work perfectly fine. So yeah, I'll soak the balls in ATF and then hone them up. And I've already done this before on film, showed you guys how to do it in a previous video. So I'll probably just throw it on time lapse and we'll get to work. Well, we are all done honing. So yeah, having a look in there, I had the flashlight, put them on the top of the board, look down, on the bottom of the board and look up. They're all very consistent. The only problem is that the boards aren't actually in great condition. That is not ideal, of course, because, well, why would you purposely want a not very great condition bore? But I don't have any options. I can't bore this oversized because I'm not going to go put forged pistons in stock 20 det. And well, there's not really much of an oversized option. They're about the same cost as forged, and yeah, we're gonna have to run with it. Now, it's not horrible. There's a few little scores in 4 and 6. That is not bad, but that is the worst ones. You can catch your nail on it, but obviously, with the hone, they are low spots, they are not high spots. And there's a few marks inside the boards. Now, it looks like, well, why they did the head gasket is because number 6 had gone. So, like I'd said in previous videos, the head has been skimmed, it has been off, and it has had a new gasket. And it looks to me like number 6 was ingesting water because these tiny little micro pits all around the bore. So that obviously tells me, well, water was getting into the combustion, and it was obviously steam cleaning it and just getting in there and rusting it. Not ideal, but like I said, I don't have an option, and it's still going to run. It was running perfectly fine before this, obviously in worse condition because I'm rebuilding it to be better, so it will run again. It's just, it won't be that 100% immaculate build. The scoring is just at the top of number 6 here, and a little bit at the top of number 4. That's the only real scoring in here. Obviously there's tiny marks in 3, but barely even see them. The cross hatching is not too bad. Obviously you get a pretty uniform finish. Camera doesn't seem to want to pick it up too much. Yeah, that is just, it's gonna have to do it. I'm also not a huge fan of how the deck looks around number 6, where it was ingesting water from that supposed blown head gasket. It's got a pitting around the fire ring here, and the gasket has actually indented itself in the deck. That is probably something that I could do myself. I could get a big flat bit of glass, put some weight on it and sand it smooth, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to wait till I've cleaned this deck up, measured it, checked it all over, and I'll make a final decision. But I might have to drop this into Dean for a skim. Just, you know, I don't want to take this thing apart again after obviously putting it together. Yeah, even though it's a composite gasket, bit of copper spray, chucking it on, I'm not sure. It probably would seal, but it's more of that peace of mind knowing that I've got a decked head, I've got a decked block, I've got 2 flat surfaces and a sprayed gasket. This thing shouldn't leak, but we'll see what happens when we get there. Now that I've gotten this out of the way anyway, and I've drenched this thing in ATF and metal grit, which is all over the floor, she is ready for a wash. Oven clean it, get it everywhere, get it all in here, get it in the crankcase because we need to do some measuring, so we need to have the journals nice and clean. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go roll this bad boy outside. It's not a crack, is it? No, it's a little scratch, thank God. Yeah, roll it outside, soak it in an oven cleaner, or the little bit that I have left, I think probably half a can. Give it a power wash, let it dry, and get to measuring. That is the next step. Would have been a while since I shot that last clip, so I've had everything outside. So I've been sitting in an oven cleaner, let it sit quite a while. Yeah, the crank's done, the cradle is done, and the block is done. Obviously not final clean, but it's clean enough for me to put it together and measure it, and then get my rings with it. I'll tap all the holes because I have a new tap set, so I'll go through every single hole in this entire block, apart from the head star, or the head bolt holes. They're M11 by 1.25, 1.5 I mean, and I don't have that tap. I don't have any M11s, but I will just chase them with an old head bolt, cut some slots in it with a grinder, and there you go. Need your perfect thread chaser, wind them in and out with the impact, sweet. Pretty grease free, nice clean pan rail. Gone through and wipe everything with CRC on a rag. I just like put a bit on my finger inside the rag, and then just go and wipe every surface that I don't want to flash rust. Crank cleaned up pretty good as well. As you can see, it's got a nice shine to it. I do need to polish it, but for now it is clean enough to toy around with and measure. Crank collar's fitted thanks to Big Dogs at Cuttins. And the cradle here as well. I have gone and wiped down with CRC and the thrust face so it doesn't flash rust. Here's what we're looking like bore wise. Did get a nice crosshatch on all of them, like I did show just a few clips ago. They've come up good, it's just a shame they are not perfect. Either way, it ran before I pulled it down, and if you're gonna pull something down and make it better, well, she's obviously gonna run again. Now the following day, it's a bit of a nicer day today actually, not as windy and it's a bit warmer. Got the block sitting here, this is ready for measuring, but what I want to do first is just, well, I want to measure that crank, or sorry, I want to get the crank ready to throw in. So I need to polish it, it's got a bit of surface rust on, I believe it's number 6 rod journal. I need to do that. Now, my bench is in absolute state currently, it's pretty bad. So I'm going to clean that up, get me some free space back, and then show you how to get little bits of rust or imperfections out of your crank the easy way. Pulled all my engine internals out of everything I've had to clean in another video, so I do need to do that. And this is empty, so that can go in the bin. And I need to put this alternator back together real quick so I don't lose all the pieces, and then get that ready and set it aside. So may as well throw it on time lapse and crack into it. All done. There you go, all back together. Nice and clean. Makes a huge difference to how they used to look. She is all back together now. I don't have to worry about losing or little bits and pieces and whatnot. I can chuck it in the back of the car, probably in the boot or the back seat, and well, come back to it when I need it. Got some bench space back as well, which is quite good. Chuck the crank up here and we will attack the polish job. It is dead simple. You can't really mess it up. Well, you can if you try hard enough, but I'll show you the easy way to do it and get it ready to put in the block. Here is the crank, of course, and here is the problem: rust. This is my entire toolkit for fixing said problem. 800 grit, 1200 grit. Need something like a shoelace saw. This is the edge of a microfiber, a little braided part. It's got a bit of strength to it. And a pair of scissors. And ideally, CRC. That helps too. Auto sole. Incredible stuff. Keep that to the side, you will need that. It is dead simple. Literally just grab 800 grit. Got my little sheet there. I just need to cut a strip long enough to barely overlap the circumference of the journal, and obviously it has to be the right width to fit on it. And then you just wrap the tie around your shoelace or what do you got, wrap it around twice or 3 times so it covers the whole thing. Then you got one at each side, and when you pull it, it will pull in and out and essentially sand it in a circular motion. So I will get that set up and display how easy it is. I eyeballed that almost perfectly. Really what you're doing is wrapping this all the way around like that, and then yeah, we'll spin it around. We'll just put a bit of CRC on this face here and a bit on the wet and dry, and then set it up. Just tight it around. So you come on one side, wrap it around like a coil, obviously very slowly following the journal. You'll have one out this side and one out this side, and when you pull them, it'll pull in a circular motion. That is literally all there is to it. You don't want to go like levering on it and putting heaps of pressure on it, because you want to keep it even and kind of let the sandpaper just do its own work. And if you pull tight enough, you probably just bind it and rip it anyway. So just be careful with it. And yeah, it's really simple as that. I don't know how easy I can explain it. So I'll probably throw it on time lapse and just run over a few of these, and then should be good. Do the same thing but with the auto sole. There we go. That is the number 1 pass done. 800 grit on every journal. It is a lot better, more of a shine to it. Still tiny little imperfections, of course. You know, this is a home job. This is not chucking it on a lathe with a linisher, but it's pretty damn good. I will just run it back with the 1200 grit, and then yeah, time for an auto sole. That polish does usually make quite a big difference if you've got a fine enough finishing grit on there. So the 1200 does help, and the auto sole gives it that mirror finish. Now it's not even necessary, you don't have to go this far. Even when I got my 30 crank back from Dean, his idea of a polish, which was on the invoice sheet, is a dull finish. Looks like Scotch Brite, like a brushed finish. Smooth, but you know, definitely wouldn't shine much light off it. So it's kind of a bit of a wank factor, but doesn't hurt to go the extra mile. Why not? just finished my 1200 grit pass. Looking pretty good in my eyes. All the rust is gone. You can see just some very minor imperfections, but you know, it is what it is. This thing is still a million times better than what it was. Go on and chuck the flash on to emphasize the shine that it gives off. It is so much better than what it was. And you're looking at that. Now you're onto the final step. Get a bit of auto salt and a new bit of cloth, because we really don't want to go rubbing all the sanding grit straight back on here. And then yeah, your step 4 is to enjoy your results. It is the one I use for sanding. That is full of sanding grit, as you can imagine. And I have another one here, which is my distinct polishing one, which is why it's a lot whiter. So I'm going to crack into this, throw it back in the time lapse once again, and then we'll see how she looks. All done. That's it. This is a 3-stage job. 800 grit, 1200 grit, polish. This thing looks so good. I'll chuck the flash on and show you how good it come up. You can't tell me that does not look good for a home polish. And there she is. It's come up so good. There's a nice mirror reflection on every single journal now. That is more than well and good enough to use. From something that has sat by my fireplace for about 3 years now. 3 years I have had this crankshaft sitting next to my fireplace. Just sitting in the cradle. It was just starting to rust away. And for probably an hour and a half of my time to give it a sand up and a polish and get it looking like that. Priceless. That is going to be where I will wrap it up for this one, because there's no point dragging in the next set of things that I have to do into this video. I'd rather dedicate an entire video to purely measuring and checking. So now I've got this absolutely pristine crank that is ready to go in and it will aid me in my measuring process. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up and, well, continue on with the build.